Good morning. It is Saturday, January 20th, and this is the second Women's March. I'm really excited for this. Our apartment is a mess. Don't mind anything behind me. Jensen and I are gonna head down to LA. We need to go get a few snacks. You need snacks for marching, yeah? And I'm just looking forward to being a part of history. I think this is gonna be a really special day. You want a waffle? Okay. I don't know if this is backwards how you're saying it, but it says a woman's place is in the House and the Senate. And one of the things that I'm excited about with this Women's March, oh, now you're getting ha, little class clown. One thing that I'm excited about is how many women have stepped up to run for public office, and it's not always like the president or anything like that, but just even, you know, like city councils and just kind of smaller roles, but getting involved in public office and public service. I just think that is one great thing that has come out of the last year or so. We've got our walking shoes ready. Got our sunscreen on. And yes, that was the waffles. Should we go get them? Go get your waffles? All right, we're heading out. I think we're just gonna go to Starbucks and get some snacks, and then we're meeting up with one of my friends and one of her friends. We're gonna go together. One of the things I was thinking about last night, I mean, just especially since I'm bringing Jensen, is like, is it safe to go to this place where so many people are going to be like congregated? Are we like a target, you know, for somebody that hates this? And so it is, there's a little bit of fear, but I also understand that historically America does just about anything that it can to protect white women, even to our detriment, because we have different definitions of what protection means. But I think because of the presence of so many women like me, there's going to be a lot of police presence and just protection in general. And last year there were marches all over the world, and all of them were peaceful and nothing ended in violence. Everything went just according to plan. But I'm excited to see it for myself. I want to see what it's like. I haven't marched before that I can remember, and I know like so many different issues are represented in this march. Some of them I support with my whole heart. Some of them I don't. But for as long as I can remember, I have been such a feminist, such a women's rights advocate. I've been reading about the women's movements for years. And I've always wondered what it would be like to live through something like that. And now I do. I'm living through this, what are we gonna call this? Like the fourth wave feminism. We've got the Me Too movement, Time's Up. And I love it. I am so energized by this. I want to connect with more people and connect with more organizations and be a force for positive change. But I need some caffeine in order to do that, so I'll check in with you in a minute. We are here. It's pretty chilly out, so we got some beanies and a bunch of people are here. We're kind of waiting for it to get started. I like that this is not a very early day. They're just like us, wanting to sleep in. down some rocks. Good job.
Yeah. All right.
So we did the marching part, which was really amazing. It was just a really cool experience. And then now we are at City Hall in LA, and there's a stage. We're pretty far from the stage. They just started playing some music, and they're gonna have some speakers. So like Kamala Harris is gonna speak, Mayor Garcetti, I think like Sophia Bush and Scarlett Johansson, Maxine Waters. So we can hear pretty well from here. So we're gonna try and stick around for some of the speeches. This is definitely like an all ages event. Like there are little kids, there are babies, there are older people, a lot of women like my age, but there's a lot of diversity here. All right, we moved a little bit closer. We can see the stage. Oh, Rachel Platt is going to be the next speaker. We can't really see the stage, but we can hear, so that's nice. I'll show you our view. The stage right there.
Tears in my eyes listening to everybody listening to this. I didn't get to come last year. I was so sad about that, and this is just unbelievable. I can't believe that I get to be on stage. It's about breaking the glass ceiling, about recognizing that we're struggling together. Singing number one.
Gender equality can't just exist outside ourselves, it must exist within. We must take responsibility, not just for our actions, but for ourselves. We must make it our responsibility to feed our own healthy ego, to teach our children to exercise their own autonomy and ego strength by leading by example.
America Davis just came on stage and Jensen found this chicken.
I'm gonna make it plain. In 1877, America, the greatest country on this planet, put laws in place called the Jim Crow laws. And the Jim Crow laws restricted the rights to quadroons, octoroons, blacks, Hispanics, Indians, Malays, restricted medical, restricted relationships, restricted education.
And we welcome with love and with flowers and legal defense and a legal defense fund for immigrants, everybody who deserves to be in this country.
Can you hear me right there? Yeah. Can you hear me right there? Sweet. Something has changed with it. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by. I'm defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity. And you won't bring me down.
Hi guys, we are back from the Women's March. It's, I don't even know what time, maybe like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So I just wanted to document my experience, really just for myself and like for posterity. It was really cool to be a part of something that's probably going to be in history books, and this is a new wave of feminism. And I know that there are a lot of critiques and criticisms of the way that like this wave of feminism is going, but today it felt really wonderful. So I went with a friend from work, a fellow teacher, which was just really cool that we could do something that we feel like paves the way to make the world a better place for our students. And another of her friends came along, so there were 3 of us, plus Jensen. I was expecting it to just be like really crazy, but it wasn't. We found parking pretty easily. We started walking towards City Hall, and it was really exciting. We just like saw people walking with their signs, Everybody was talking to each other. We all came together kind of in this one block where they had, they had stopped traffic and everything so that people could march. There were just all different kinds of people all around you, and everybody was so polite. Like, there were 500,000 people at last count. So we were all together in one small space, and everybody was polite. Everybody was like saying excuse me and allowing people to go past. I didn't see a single piece of trash anywhere. It was a very safe place, and it was very cool. Like, this is what I like about marching, is that you use your body and you take up space as a form of protest. And so everyone's mere presence there accomplished a goal. We caught the attention of news organizations. We had a police presence there. There were such creative signs, and I just love the idea of creative problem solving and coming together to figure out what is going to be best for everyone and not shutting anybody out. Almost every single sign that I saw was just like, empowered women empower women, like the future is female. There were a lot of signs about saving the earth. There were some like anti-Trump signs, which is to be expected, but I feel like the majority of the movement today was just about celebrating women and celebrating what women have done in the past year, and how many stories have come out, and how many women have supported each other, how many women have run for public office. It was really amazing. And then we got down to like City Hall, and there were so many great speakers. I got some of them on camera. Mayor Garcetti's speech was really powerful. Viola Davis's speech was really great. We had to leave before Kamala Harris came out, and I was really disappointed about that because that's who we were all like really looking forward to hearing from. But we did have Jensen, and he was getting really tired. There was this guy that had a rubber chicken, that like squeaks, and Jensen was obsessed with this rubber chicken. And so the guy let him play with the rubber chicken the whole time. And then he had to leave, and so we were on borrowed time after that. So we eventually had to go. But so many women got registered to vote. There was just access to resources. There were all of these tents. And we didn't get a chance to look very closely into them, but there were just resources for women. And especially in LA, if you've never been to downtown LA, there are so many women and children in poverty, and there's so many homeless people, and they need access to so many resources just to get like basic things. So knowing that everybody was out there like with the intention of lifting other people up was awesome. I listened to the news on my drive home, and I was wondering like what they would say about it, and they said that there were like neo-Nazi anti-protesters in LA. I didn't see them. But then they said that there's also like a faction of women within the alt-right and like the neo-Nazi movement that has like a Me Too movement, because the alt-right is incredibly misogynist, but those issues always go together. White supremacy is always like white male supremacy, and it's always based in ignorance and untruth, lies, historical incorrectness. Like, there is nothing true whatsoever about white supremacy or male supremacy. Everything that they rely on, all of their arguments are completely flawed and not based in anything factual or correct. So I'll be interested to kind of see how the Me Too movement within the alt-right plays out, but any woman that is abused, I would support her no matter what her beliefs about anything else. I would hope that she would be able to see the similarities between the abuse and the degradation, and be able to see that this is why it's so important to understand that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I can't condone discriminating against anybody, because that ultimately leaves me open to discrimination at any time. I don't believe in treating anybody badly or unfairly or in a way that's against the law, because then I lose my credibility as somebody who wants to be treated fairly and wants everyone else to be treated fairly, even the people I don't like. There are people I don't like. There were people at the march who were marching for things that I don't believe in. There were 500,000 people there. Everybody has different beliefs. We weren't one homogenous group, but we all want to make this world a better place. We want people to be treated fairly and equally, and we're committed to the idea that we are one big family and we're gonna help each other out, and we are dysfunctional and we disagree about things, but we are not going to choose sides and polarize ourselves. We're gonna work together. It's not men versus women, it's not Republicans versus Democrats. We are people and we're working together. So I'm gonna put this footage together. This video is not meant to be anything groundbreaking. I just wanted to have a memory of my day and like a first person perspective of what it was like to be there. If you're watching this, thank you for seeing this day through my eyes. And now I have to take care of a child and cook some food and clean the house, not because I am a woman, but because I live here and I am a contributing member of this house, and that's what I do. That's what my husband does, but he's still out there changing lives and empowering boys through sports. We also love to empower girls through sports. That's where I got so much of my confidence as a middle schooler and a teenager, was through sports. And I was better than most boys at sports. So I think that's what gave me just a very critical eye towards anybody that ever said that men were better than women or boys were better than girls at anything. I was like what? I have always been such a proponent of women's rights ever since I remember 8th grade, learning about the suffragettes, the women's suffrage movement. It has just fascinated me, and now I have like a renewed interest in reading more history about that. And now looking back, we can see that it was still exclusive and so many women of color still didn't get included in this march forward. But I forget which speaker said it today, that if we're not taking everyone with us, we are really not moving forward, and we do need to really focus on making sure that our momentum includes everyone. So that's really important, and I'm just invigorated and excited to be more politically involved. It's not even so much political as it is just involved in my community. There's a church really near us that I go to sometimes, and they're really involved in their community. I think that there are a lot of avenues to do good. It's quite easy to see where you have something extra. Like there are things that I have that are extra. Like I have extra education, so I can use my knowledge to help other people that didn't have access to the education that I had. I have extra time. I mean, I'm very busy, but I don't work 3 jobs, and I can take Jensen with me if I need to do things on the weekend. So I have extra time that I can dedicate to other people that don't have it. I have extra security. I know that I'm not going to be deported. I know that I'm not going to be evicted. My life is stable, so I can dedicate myself to helping people who live with so much less stability than I do. I have extra food. I can give food and clothing and many things to people who have less than I do. So I encourage you to think about what you have extra of that you could turn around and pour back into your community. Speaking of food, I'm really hungry now, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. But this was a wonderful day, and thank you to everybody else who marched and supported and encouraged. There were people like cheering us on from their balconies. It was just the coolest thing. Enjoy your day, and I hope that as a result of today, the world is a little bit better place.